Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and this cute chimpanzee is the current pattern in the Funny Faces Quilt Block of the Month Club. So if you are already in the club, you should have already received an email with a link to download the pattern, and you'll also find it in your downloads library this month. And if you're not in the club yet and you join anytime in May 2023, this is the pattern that you're going to get instantly. So here's how to make him. All right, let's make this chimpanzee. So this is the video showing you how to do this if you have a light box. So first, I'm going to show you very quickly my light box setup. So if you peel this back, I've got my light box, I've got it turned on and to the brightest setting. I've got my placement guide, and I have a clear silicone sheet. So we are going to use this placement guide. It shows us exactly where all of the pieces go, and it also tells us what piece is what. So we are going to start with piece number 1, and that is one of his ears. So we're going to just lay the pieces down in number order. So this is going to be a very silly purple monkey. This is using some of the fabrics that I designed in what I call the farmer's market color palette. Each of all of the colors I sampled from actual fruits and vegetables. So all of the purples are shades of eggplants, which come in lots of different shades of purple. So now we are going to move to piece number 3. That was 1 and 2. So 3 is his shoulders. This is a very fun polka dot print I designed called Oh Snap. You can make, we're going to do piece 4 now, his head. You can make animals using any colors you want. You don't have to use realistic colors, but one thing that will make your animal look right, even when the colors are crazy, is if you use dark shades where the real animal is dark and lighter shades where he's light. So for example, chimpanzees' ears are usually lighter than their head and shoulders, and their mouth is also usually lighter. So when we get to that piece, I will show you that. So now I'm going to do piece 5 and 6, and if you are having trouble seeing those lines through the fabric, when the fabric lays on it, it tends to kind of bow up a little bit on the surface, and that means that it's harder for those lines to show through. If you just push it down just gently, just enough to make contact between all 3 layers, you'll be able to see those lines through very clearly. So there are 4 ovals in this pattern. The eyes, pieces 5 and 6, are slightly bigger than the ovals that are the nostrils, but the pieces are numbered, so that'll help you tell them apart as well. So we've got 5 and 6. There's his eyes. And now 7 is his mouth. And I forgot to mention, you can ignore, since I'm doing this with a light box, I was able to ignore all of the dotted lines on the paper side of the pattern, but there's one that you have to pay attention to. All the rest of them are placement lines, but this, his smile, is actually a stitching line. So before I peel this paper off the back, I need to transfer that line to the fabric side so I'll be able to see it when I go to my sewing machine. So I'm just gonna set that down on the light box, and I'm just using a Sharpie, nothing fancy, and I'm just gonna trace over that line. Now, it's totally fine that I'm using a permanent marker because I'm going to stitch over that line with black thread, so you're never going to see the black thread on that black. You're never going to see the black line through that black thread, so it doesn't matter that it's permanent. Now, you can see that this is a lighter shade of purple, and it'll show even more clearly when it doesn't have the light shining through it. You'll be able to get a better view of these colors. But that makes it look realistic monkey, or chimpanzee, even when there are no such things as purple chimpanzees. So now we've got 2 nostrils, and they go right up here. And again, I'm having to touch that to see the lines through there. This design, this kind of diamond grid design, I call God's Eye, and I have it in lots of different colors too. But I really love using all the different colors from one collection. So all of these are different shades of eggplant, so they all work really well together. And it's easy. I can get them and know that they're going to match. So All right, I've got all the pieces layered down. Now I'm going to carefully lift up the silicone mat and carry it over to my ironing board. And then I'm going to fuse all these pieces together right on the silicone mat. Let them cool and then peel it off, and you can stick it down to your fabric. And he's going to go on a dark green fabric, which you'll see in just a couple of minutes. But I'll get him fused down in place on the finished block, and then I'll take him to my ironing board and I'll do all that outline stitching, including stitching that cute smile. Then I'll bring it back here and show you the finished block and also show you 2 other color variations that I did. All right, here is the finished chimpanzee. I've done all of the outline stitching. I also added some catch lights to his eyes. I just used a little bit of, just a little dot of white fabric paint, and there's a link in the pattern to a tutorial showing a few different ways that you can add those catch lights to the eyes. But I also wanted to show you a couple of different color versions I made of this guy. So this one uses realistic colors from the Animal Kingdom fabric collection, and the background block is from the Farmer's Market collection. This is one of the strawberry blenders. And this one also uses realistic colors from the Animal Kingdom collection for the chimpanzee, but in this one, the background is one of the brown blenders from the Animal Kingdom collection. So those I call the grizzly blenders. I give all of the color names in the Animal Kingdom collection different animal names, so you'll know which color collection they belong to. But I did one more that does not have realistic colors for the chimp. Here is my fantasy version of the chimpanzee. So this one uses eggplant blenders from the Farmer's Market color collection, and the background block is one of the avocado blenders. So this is a pattern, a quilt that I'm working on where all of the blocks use different blenders from the avocado blenders collection for the backgrounds and different other colors from the Farmer's Market collection for each animal. So you can make your animals any color you want as long as you keep the dark and light, the relative dark and light, the same as they are in real life. They will still look like somewhat realistic animals. So in this case, the chimpanzee head and body is typically darker than the ears and the face. And so I've followed that pattern on this, so you still get what looks sort of like a realistic chimpanzee. So again, this chimp is the current pattern in the Funny Faces Quilt Block of the Month Club, May 2023. I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and I'll see you next month.